Hello everyone. Today we are going to understand max min collectors and the mapping collectors and the grouping collectors and partitioning collectors. So let's start. First we'll start with the max by and min by. They are pretty straightforward ones. Before we start, just the walkthrough of the employee object, which you would be using as the base of our examples basically. So we have ID, name, department, salary, city, age, and also we have skills. Okay. Skills would be the list of string basically. And we have the sample data here. So this is the sample data here. We have 8 employees. Now let's start. First, let's check the maximum salary. Okay, between the employees. It is straightforward. You go here, you collect, you do max by, and in the max by, if you look at the method, right, it is using comparator. It is using comparator. Keep this in mind, and it will return optional. Just keep that in mind. It will return optional because it expects that string can be null. So this is one part. So let's find a comparator here. We can optional here. So what it will return optional employee. Now let's check. Employee optional dot. Okay. So we see James has the highest salary. Let's check that. So here we have John with 90,000, 70,000. Yeah, James with the highest salary. So this is how you can get the employee with the highest salary. We just pass the max by and the comparator. That is it. And then you get the object, I mean the option object. Now similarly, you can do the mean by. I'm just going to copy paste. Let me not copy paste. We'll write it down. Optional employee. Again, we will stream employees.stream. Then we will collect and we'll use the method mean by. We will again pass the comparator.comparing employee get salary. We'll just do the S out. This time it will be employee L1. This is the minimum salary. So the minimum salary is of Emma. So let's check. This is Emma salary 65,000, 70,000. Yeah, correct. So this is the minimum salary. So this is how you can get the mean and the max. Ideally, I can do this very easily using the strings as well. Right? If I do map to int e dot get salary. This is not map to int. This should be map to double. Because salary is in double. So now we get e dot get salary, and then you can easily find the max. The same thing only. Max dot over you done. It is double. We print here. I got the highest salary. Here it is returning me the actual employee. This is wonderful. Like why do we have this option of collectors.maxby? So it's basically when we use in the other collectors like collectors.groupingBy, partitioningBy. So that is where this max and mean, even this mapping, flat mapping, etc. would be reused, mostly in the grouping and the partitioning collectors. That is where this will be used. Now we have completed max and min. Now we'll just look. We'll start with the grouping by, and then we'll in between use mapping, flat mapping, and then see how we can use it, and even the partitioning by. So let's start with the grouping by. So grouping by is pretty straightforward. Say I want to group by department, right? Group by department to all the employees of a department. So this is the group by basically. So let's see what how it will work. Employees.stream, then you call collector directly. After collect is the grouping by. Okay. If you look at grouping by, the first is the here it is showing classifier, and then the downstream. Okay, so how do you want the value to be? First is the classifier. When we say classifier, it's basically the column that you want in the group by class. So let's take department for now. Okay, for each department, and now what kind of value you want? Suppose if you don't pass anything, okay, if you don't pass anything, it will still work. Okay, what do you get is map of department is string, right? Your value is string, and it will return list of employees. Okay, so it is run. It is being executed on the employee list, correct? And then if you don't provide any downstream, basically, if you look here, we are just providing classifier. Classifier is your department. If you don't provide any downstream, then by default it will create a it will take that particular object. It will create that list of employees. Now let's check the results. So we have map dot for each a comma v, and we'll do the s out. Let's print the output. So here you can see. I'll just change one thing here for now. I'll just change the to string to return only the name. If I run this, as you can see, now it returns the name of the employees, as you can see, as a list. Now, this is one option. Now, let's look at the other options or the ability that grouping by provides. We'll take again employees.stream. Then we do collect, and in the collect, we use collectors.groupingBy. We will again take e dot. I'm using method reference here, employee get department. And now the next part is the downstream that you would provide. Okay. So what is the downstream that you will provide? Say I want the count basically. Okay, I want count of the employees in each department. What this will give me is count of employees in each department. So here I get the count. So now my map output would be, just keep one thing in mind, grouping by will always return a map. Okay. So here department is my string. counting, I'll get a long. I should put long here. If I do this, if I execute it, here it gives me the count of each employees. Sorry, employees in each department: finance, HR, and IT. This is one option for the usage in the grouping by clause. Let's try few more examples in the grouping by clause. It is very powerful. Say I want to find out highest salary in each department. Let's find out highest salary in each department. Okay. We again do the same thing. Collect and collectors.groupingBy. It is again by department, right? By department, employee, get department. Now, what I want is maximum salary in each department. So how do you find a maximum? We just saw we'll use another collector. We'll use max by. Okay, max by. Here I'll pass the comparator. Start comparing. And on what basis you want to compare? On the basis of salary. If I do this, basically what we have done, we have a grouping by department. So this is my key and this is my value. I'm getting the maximum value. Now this is going to return optional. Just keep that in mind. Max by returns what? Optional. So my map output would be here. I'll have to provide optional of what? Because it is not going to return a value, it is going to return the employee. So here we will get the employee, not double. Just keep that in mind. Max by will return not the value, but the actual employee. Now let's run this. And see the output. As you can see, we got James, Mary, and Daniel. So these are the highest salary in their department. And say suppose instead of department, I want to do it by city. I can do it by city as well. So here you got by city: Delhi, New York, London, Mumbai. So now this grouping is by city. You can change it in this way. Now suppose I want to modify the value. The value should be, now I'm getting employee, right? Employee object, which is basically because of two string, I'm getting only the name. Otherwise, it is returning the whole complete employee. But I just want something else, right? Not employee. So let us try. Again, we do employees.stream collect collectors dot grouping by. In the grouping by, let's take city for now. It's okay. After city, let's do collectors dot mapping. What is this mapping? We know the map function, right? In streams. If I use employees dot stream dot map, if you know map, map is basically this is the employee object, employee entity. Now, what value I want from that particular employee, or if I want say like ID plus ID plus department, something like that. So this is transformation function, right? So same thing, I can do it here. Say I want to map it, like if I want to show city, right? Need city, I want to show name of the employee plus, let me do the concatenation here. And then I do add department as well. So now this is a string. Once I map, where do I want to send this value to? Okay, I send it to list. Now I get list of what is this mapping function doing? It is creating a string here. You understand here? It is creating a string. So now what would be my map type? We have changed the value part using this. So this is how you can change the value part. This is list of string. This list map 4. What we have done, we are doing grouping by get city. This is my key, and now this is my value. In my value, what I've taken, I'm doing the transformation part. I'm doing mapping part. I'm taking the name of the employee and the department, concatenating them. And now we show that concatenation. We'll just copy this print statement. See, as you can see here, Delhi, we got the name of the employee, department, name of the employee, department, name of the employee, department, name of the employee, department. So this is how you can do the transformation part. You can transform it to any value that you want. So this is about the transformation. Now let's look at the other option, which is the flat mapping. In the flat mapping, I'll have more values. Like I'll have another stream, another list basically. See, in the employees, we have list of string, which is the skills, list of skills of the employees. So if I want to show them how we can do that, let's try this out. I do a collect. I pass the collectors dot grouping by again. Again, I will do now. This time I will take department. Okay. Now in each department, I want to find out all the skills in each department. Okay. So how do I get skills in each department? The skills is the attribute of the employee. Every employee has some skills like Java, AWS, DB, AWS, etc. Now this employee belongs to certain department. So I'll take the list of this one, then list of this one, then list of this one, and then I'll pull it and show it as the list skills in each department. Let's do that. Collectors dot flat mapping. I cannot use map here with the list with the another list. So I'll have to use the flat mapping because there is another stream which has come up. Correct? If you look here, I get the skills. See, I'm getting the error because now I'm not. What is missing basically stream. I need to pass the stream to flat map. So get skills itself is a list, right? It is itself is a list. If I try to use get skills here, right, in the map function, see you see that you will get the error. It's a list of string, correct? And if it's a list of string, then obviously there are multiple strings on top of that, and the output would be non-readable. So to make it readable, we use the flat map. So let's do that. Now we have passed the string. Now how do you want to basically collect it? Okay. So this is the collector part. In the grouping by, this is the definition here. In the grouping by, you will see the classifier. Classifier is the first part that you see. Okay, this is your classifier, and then this is your collector, which is the downstream. When we say downstream means this is basically this is going to return something. It could be any other collector which is returning some kind of lace set, whatever data, right? So, so this is what the downstream means. Now, if you look at flat mapping also, it will be quite similar. So there is a function which is a mapper function that we have seen. So this is the mapper function, a mapping function like this. There is a mapping function, and then we have the downstream. Same like what grouping by had. So every collector method will have this downstream. So in the downstream, you can actually use another collectors method. So that's what I have done. In the grouping by, I am using flat mapping method. In the flat mapping, I'm using two set. So whatever is the output here, I'm saying convert this into two set. Okay. Let's see the output now. Before that, I need to, what would be my type actually? Okay. So this time it will be set of string. Why set of string? See, this is returning set. This flat mapping output, this is returning set, right? So grouping by key would be my string, and this part is returning set. So this is how you can break it down. Just once more, I'm explaining you in the grouping by first parameter. First parameter is string, basically department. You could say it's a key. And what is my second parameter? Second parameter is a downstream. Downstream, or you could say any other collector. It could be any collector. In our case, it is what? It is collector dot flat mapping, right? And say for what is the case for flat mapping? So it is first is function, a function basically, which is this one. So this is a mapper function. So here I'm passing a lambda expression basically. E dot get skills dot string. That is my function. And what is my second parameter? It's basically another collector. I am telling them, okay, whatever is the result, collect it into set. So that's what flat mapping is doing. Then finally, the output of this flat mapping will be sent to this grouping by clause. So once you understand this, then it becomes easier how you would apply your methods. Now let's print this value just to see how it looks. See, as you can see, in each department, I can see various different skills coming out very easily. So that's the advantage of uh, grouping by. Okay. There is also grouping by concurrent, which is very similar to grouping by. It's just that it returns concurrent hash map. So it is generally used for parallel streams. Start with partitioning by. Partitioning by is very straightforward. Once you understand the grouping by, now collectors dot, I'm using partitioning by. The partitioning by, it has predicate, and the other one is obviously downstream. Just keep this in mind. Every collectors method has either a W function here uh, or a predicate or something. In the partitioning by, we have a predicate. Predicate means some condition, some boolean condition. It will return. And then we have downstream. Downstream means same collectors method. So now say suppose I'm saying check the employee whose age is greater than 50. So this is my predicate. So I'll do the partitioning on this predicate. Age is greater than 50. So first partition would be age greater than 50, which would be my true condition. And second partition would be age less than 50. Okay? Less than equal to 50. This is my false condition. So this is the two partitions that partitioning by will return. There is no other partition that partitioning by returns. Okay. Keep that in mind. There are only two partitions which partitioning by return, nothing else. Now, if I want to collect it, now what do I collect? Say, yeah, I don't send anything, right? By default, it will be a list of employees. Let's do that. Again, you will get a map. The map here would be map of Boolean, comma, list of employees. Remove this. If I again print it, I have changed this condition to get age less than 30, and because of the data. So the first is less than 30. David. David, it is false, right? Where is David? David is here. David's age is 31, which is false, correct? Right. What I'm saying is predicate, check predicate, age is less than 30. Age is less than 30? No. It's greater than 30. Age is less than 30 for Mary? Yes. So Mary is in true part. Age is less than 40? No. So Robert is in the false part. So this is how your false and true will come out. Okay. So false condition is a false condition is E dot at age is greater than equal to 30, and your true condition is less than 30. So this is how it will apply, and it will create two partitions. 51 didn't work because we didn't have any employees, which is greater than 50. If I do this, this is my true condition, right? I didn't get any employees, which is who has this age greater than 50. That is why I didn't get anything. So this is partitioning by. It is also straightforward. You can just apply another kind of collector also, which I just spoke about. Okay, let's keep it for 30 only, less than 30. What we'll do is we'll pass one more collector here. Collectors dot counting. Let's get the count. A count will return what? We have to just always check whatever collectors that you're using, right? What will it return? This is your value part. Key part is Boolean. So key part is true and false. Value part would be basically going to return long because it's counting, right? Let's see the output. As you can see, false, it's 5 and 3. So this is how you can use the partitioning by, grouping by. Just keep this in mind. The collectors second part basically. This is the most confusing part that you will encounter actually. If you understand this, then it becomes easier. And the difference between grouping by, you're actually passing the value, right? I take this value of the key, right? Here the key is there, finance, HR, IT, etc. And partition by is just true and false. There are only two buckets, true and false. So that's the difference between partitioning by and group by. If you just want to partition into true and false, you use partition. And grouping by is basically if we have to do a group by. And like filters we have, right? So we have this collection of filter also that you can use inside a grouping. There is one more method, collecting and then. Let's look at that. We do employees.stream, everything else is same. Let's do grouping by again. Employee again, we'll do by department. Now let's take the same example which we had done. It is collectors dot flat mapping. Here I'll do the flat mapping of skills. E dot get skills dot stream because it's a flat map, right? Now first we'll complete what will happen in the flat map. I say again, convert this into set. This is one part. Now after this, till here we have already done this example. It will return what? String and set of skills. So basically set of string. But now suppose I want to check the count of skills in each department, right? How are you going to do that? You can apply this collectors dot collecting and then. So you apply first part is you collect it. Okay, this is now your whole value part. What will happen here in the value part? First, it will execute this one in the collecting and then. So it will get a collection basically. It will get a set. Once it gets a set, what do you want to do with that set? Right? What do you want to do with that set? Now you'll see all the set methods. Set.size, set.add, contains, etc. So say I just want the size for now. It will do what? Will return the size. I need to end this bracket here. Just understand this once again. What collectors dot collecting and then does after you collect. So this is my key for grouping by department. Now this is your value part. Let's keep this in. This is your value part. In the value part, what I'm doing is the first I'm getting all the skills. But what I want is all the skills. I just want the count also, and it should return the count of all the skills. After getting all the skills, get me the count. Correct. So that's my expectation. So that is why I'm using this collecting and then, because this collecting and then it applies on the collection output basically on the output of the collection. Whereas the other collectors method, what they do is they operate on the single value of each uh, value that is coming out of the stream, right? That's the difference. Just keep that in mind that this is being applied uh, at the collection level after you get the whole result on the whole result. So like we got the full set of skills, complete set of skills. After that, it will apply this size. Otherwise, we cannot get the set size. If we are sending single element, then you would never get the set size. What it is doing, it will first get the set of skills and then it will apply the set size and then it will return. Now here I do string because this department is my string. And what is the value coming out from here is what is set dot size going to return? Integer or long, whatever it is, integer. Yeah, let's print this. Yeah, as you can see, in each department, it is now giving me the count. Java, Oracle, AWS testing 4. In the IT, it is 6. This is how you can manipulate. After getting the results, if you want to do anything, then you can actually you're collecting and then. Let's take one more example. Say I want to do stream. I want to sort. And then after sorting, I want to collect it into list. Now this is list. I did complete operation here after the skills were generated. So this is collecting and then. Now let's see the output. See there. Now it is in the sorted order. It is the same output, but now it is sorted. So that's the advantage of collecting and then. So these are the various methods in highly used, basically grouping by, partitioning by. So these are very highly used. And if you club all these together, then you can actually get good advantage out of it, and your code will become much more easier to write and maintain, and plus easily understandable for you as well. Now let's understand teeing. So teeing was introduced in Java 12. Let's see what teeing does. First thing, the important information about teeing is you have say two outputs. You have two outputs, and then there is a merger function. So that's what teeing does. You have two outputs. The two outputs could be anything. It could be list. It could be integer. Anything. Could be anything. Okay. Then these two outputs, you can apply the merger function, which will be another lambda function. Okay. So now let's understand teeing with an example. Okay, we will take this employees. We do a stream. Then we call the collect. And in the collectors, there is this method teeing. Okay? So teeing is a separate method. Now I'll get the first list or the first output, you could say. So this is my first output. So what I will do is I'll take a very simple example for now. I'll use filtering. Filtering is just like we have to pass the predicate here. We'll just take where age is less than 30. So this is my filtering condition. Yes. Now filtering I need to pass the collector as well. So say I will take it in the list. Now this is my first output. Now let's understand the second output. We'll just take the opposite of this one. We'll take this greater than equal to 0. Now comes the third bit or the third important part of this, which is the merger function. Okay. So what I will do is I will just merge this into a map. This is just for the example sake. Ideally, we shouldn't be using this because we have a lot of other methods that we can use it. But then this is just for the knowledge that you would understand how it works. So now we have first output. Say first output, I will say uh, maybe young people, and then we will say old, something like this. And then say I'll put it in some map. So I can just create a map of this one. This is my young brigade, and in young I will put the young values. In case of old, we put the old value. So here I have created the map. Now what would be my output? Map of, right? I'm getting two lists actually, correct? Young and old. So first is string. So this is my key, and then there is a list of employee. Correct? So this is returning list of employee. If I do this, you will get the output. So let's revisit again. I'm doing collectors.teeing. Its main job is there will be two outputs or two strings or two outputs, and then it will merge it into one. So now I'm merging it into a map, right? So let's take this up and just see the output. If I run this, as you can see, it has created the map. So one is the list of young and list of old. So this is how you can use teeing. Let's take one more example. This time, say I will take a record of a result, and in this I will create list of employee, salary wise, low salary, and then create another list of employees which is high salary. So this is my record. Now we'll use the teeing here. In this case, to create this object. How we can do this? Collect collectors.teeing, and inside collectors.teeing, like I told you, we can need to get two lists, right? Low salary and high salary. So this is my first output. Now in the first output, let's create the first output dot filtering, and inside filtering, I will do what? So this is the first collector. E dot get salary greater than 1 lakh. I will, this is my first output. Now we'll take the second output, which will be the opposite of this one. I'll take the second output. Here I'll make it greater than equal to that. And then the third thing is merging. So how I can merge? So now I have two results, right? So I'll make it like low salary, low sell from high sell, and here I will create new result, and I will pass this low cell, my high cell. So now I'll get the result in my result object. I will just do the S out. Condition is incorrect. Incorrect that condition. See now low salary. We have the employees with less than 1 lakh, high salary, Robert income. So this is how you can manipulate this one. Let's take one more example. I just want to make sure that we are very good with this. Let's take another example. I will do collectors.teeing. I will create the first output. Say I will take sum of salary, okay, of all the employees. Second, what I will do is I will take count of employees. Now let's create the first one. We have collectors dot, right? There is this summing double. We need to use summing double because salary is type double, right? So we have summing double. This is my first value. Then we have counting, right? So we got the second value. So we got the first value as the sum of salaries, and the second one is the count because we are uh, basically into this employees list, right? And the let me paste it here. This second output. Now the merge function. How would you do the merge? So the first one is sum, second is count. So these are my parameters, right? This becomes my first parameter, this becomes my second parameter. Now I can just find a double, say, sorry, average basically. I do a sum of this count. This is my merge thing. Okay, now what it will return is a double. Now if I do the S out, either as you can see, we got the average salary. Although we don't need to use this thing for the average salary, this is just an example just to understand that how we can use different kinds of collectors. And then we got the first output, second output, and then the third is the merge function. Different kind of merge function. You can use any kind of merge function. You can use concatenation and all those stuff as well. So thank you so much. Uh, have a good day.